Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss show. And in today's episode, I felt that it was needed to do a motivational episode for the young-minded creators out there. You know, whether you're a musician, a content creator, an actor, what else, video game developer. Like, that's the thing. There are going to be people that are going to doubt you. They ain't going to support you. You're going to find yourself in a situation where you're in a room by yourself, and you know what, that's okay. Like, that is 100% okay. It is okay to have doubters. It's okay to have haters. At the end of the day, they ain't gonna be better than you. All right, that's just facts. You know, and the funny thing is that people will try their hardest to attempt to convince you that they're better than you. What that means in reality is that they're just trying to convince themselves that they're better than you, and they know that they're not. You know, the funny thing, and that's how I look at a lot of the people that doubts me and hates on me, is that them on their best days is on a day where I don't exist. You know, like, so they had a chance, I guess, before 2010 when I got into content creating, but after that, they didn't have a chance. Their mind was so built up off of, I want to be better than all these different people that I don't like. And it's like, well, why are you treating it like a competition? Why does it have to be a competition with you? With me, it's like, here's the thing. I upload videos. I do streams. If people come to them streams and watch those videos, or and listen to my podcast, listen to my music, whatever it is, whatever form of content I'm putting out, if people support it, they support it. If they don't, I either haven't reached out to those audience members yet, or they just wasn't a fan of the content. And that's okay. Like, that's the thing. People think that they have to do content to try to pull in all these viewers and pull in all these supporters and fans. And that's the thing that you have to be careful of when doing that, is that you have to be careful of the fake fans. Now, I had quite a few different fake fans where they only support you when it benefits them, you know, and that's the thing. Like, I don't like fans like that. I don't like fans where it's like you only show up when it's content that you're a fan of. And, you know, a lot of the times, like, you will build fans off of that, but I'm trying to build a fan base where you might have came to my channel because of that one video or that video game that I played on Twitch or the video I posted on TikTok, but I'm looking for fans that's going to support all of the content. And I do have fans that are like that, and I support, and I thank those fans. I thank those fans for the support. And I try my hardest to support those fans back, where, you know, you'll catch them in my streams, catch them in my comment sections, you know, following me all across social media. They're not like, oh, I'm just only going to subscribe this one time and then that's it. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with just showing that support. You know, you might come back later, and if you don't, you don't. But at the end of the day, you know, and it ain't even about that. That's a completely different conversation. I ain't got a little bit off topic and things. Yeah, let's get back to the doubters and stuff, you know. But no, yeah, you know, throughout your career, on whatever it is that you have your mind set towards, you are going to have doubters. You are going to have people that are going to, because with me, it's like I can think back on some of the earlier conversations I was having when it came to content creating, and people, you know, trying to tell me not to make this purchase, or don't get involved with this, or don't get involved with that. And then, of course, with the internet, you know, people trying to limit me when it came to the content. You know, people trying to put out the idea of reaction videos are bad. Meanwhile, reaction videos is doing, like, I'll say that I gained more from, because that was like the first line. Well, I take that back. Gaming videos were the first line of content. I have to say that I started, you know, like, it was the first bit of content that I started doing when I became a full-time content creator. But reaction videos, I would have to say that was the best form of content. Before I got into doing voiceover content, reaction videos was the videos that put me on the map. You know, and that's the funny thing about it, is like, you know, throughout the years of me dealing with doubters and haters, you don't see them on no map. You don't even see them like in like a city on the map. Like, they ain't got no street, they ain't got nothing. They just like it's a space. Like, let's just call them a space, you know. But it's a space that ain't gonna take up too much space. You know, the thing is this, I guess, to the young-minded creators out there, when you put, I guess, an idea in front of you, you look at the millions upon millions of possibilities that can come out of that idea. So with me, when it came down to content creating, fam, it's crazy to me that I remember back in like 2015, I had quite a few. I can't remember the exact number, but I had quite a few different videos on my gaming channel. But it's like I looked at the amount of possibilities that came out of doing gaming content, and I'm like, bruh, like when I look at and this was at a time when I was broke. This was at a time when I didn't have money to go out and get whatever video game I wanted to get. No, I had to play the free video games, and they didn't have games like Call of Duty, Warzone, Fortnite, Apex Legends. What are some other free games out there? Yeah, they didn't have games like that. So I had to use the games that I already had, or I had to trade in games, I guess, if I had games to trade in. But then there was at times where there was games I didn't want to trade in. So I had to make some, if it was a game that I really wanted to get, I had to make some hard decisions and stuff. But no, when I had very first, hold on, let me just open up my gaming channel and talk on some of the games that I was playing, because it was games that I already had, and then it was games that I had to either trade in some games and try to purchase it, and then I had to learn the hard way of like there were some games that wasn't even playable on my laptop at the time, because it wasn't even a gaming laptop. But yeah, let's go back to some of my earlier content that was uploaded on because my gaming channel, for those that don't know, that's what got me into content creating in the first place. So I uploaded a video where it was kind of like its first form of like AI technology and stuff, but it was like it would generate random answers and stuff. It's crazy how like this was kind of, in my opinion, like the earliest form of like AI. Like this was 2015's Chat GPT and stuff, but it was looked at as a video game. But anyways, it was this bot thing called I think it was like Eevee or something like. Yeah, it was Eevee. It was I called the Eevee, the creepy confused robot and stuff. And yeah, that was like the first video I uploaded, but it was a free program. There was like a website that you could go to. And then to even talk on that, just speaking of programs, like I didn't know about like OBS. OBS is free, but I didn't know about any of that. I just used what was available, like whatever I can think of and stuff. So I think OBS was a thing at the time. I just didn't know too much about it, and I didn't know how it worked. So I had to use this program called XSplit. Then I eventually learned that OBS is pretty much just like XSplit and stuff, But overall, though, I was that was like the first gaming video that I ever posted and stuff. And then after that, I was posting content of Happy Wheels. Then I was posting Left 4 Dead 2 content. Then H1Z1, and that was the game that taught me that I was like, oh, I don't have a high-end gaming PC to play this game and stuff. And that was H1Z1. That's a game where like it could be a mobile game. Like Call of Duty Mobile looks better than this game and stuff. But anyways, yeah, at the time I didn't have a computer that can play it and stuff, So overall, then I was playing this game called Double Action, Boogaloo, what else? Fallen Earth, Hawken, 404 Sight, Tactical Intervention. What are some other games? Yeah, there was a lot of different games I was playing, and it was games that I had like that I got for free and stuff. So yeah, there were some games where I couldn't even play, and I'm like, man, I really wanted to play them, but that was the thing. Like I didn't care. I didn't stay limited. Like that was the thing. I always looked at what could I possibly do with this video game. How many videos can I make out of this video game? So yeah, it was like Double Action Boogaloo for an example. And then even Warframe. Warframe, I had to say, that was probably the best free game at the time. Because it was like, there was all the different missions and stuff that you can do and all the different areas that you can explore. And still to this day, there's a lot of different things that you can do and explore in that game. Like, I would have to say that's probably the best free game for a content creator that's just starting off. Just because, the amount of content that game has and stuff. But overall, I can't remember when I got into that game. It was sometime later after getting into content creating. I just used what I can think of at the time, or what I was being exposed to. And overall, it was like it got to a point where I couldn't even record videos for a long period of time. But overall, though, like I said, I didn't stay limited. I didn't keep my mind in a limited space. I looked at what can I do and go above and beyond with it. Next thing you know, I can say for myself now, it's like I got a good gaming PC where I can stream. Like, it was crazy. I remember back then, I couldn't even record off of the computer that I had at the time. I couldn't even record videos more than 15 minutes. Like, when it got to that 15-minute mark, the computer was mad slow, unusable. pretty much, you know. But now I got a gaming laptop, or not laptop, but gaming PC that's capable of streaming for hours. Like, yeah, and it's like from recording video hours, like, I got like all this, like, and so the thing is this, when you keep your mind in a like open, you know, just area and stuff where it's like, okay, you're trying to fill up as much space as you possibly can when it comes to content creating ideas, you one day look up and realize like, dang, like I'm actually doing good for myself, you know. So yeah, overall, like having it where there's people out there doubting me and hating on me and stuff, and it's like, yeah, you see it where it's people that's in a limited mind space. They don't have the mental capacity of being creative. They don't have the mental capacity of going above and beyond with whatever it is that they're doing, you know. That's why they're sitting around doubting people and hating on people. It's like a self-projection thing where it's like they doubted on themselves so much, hated on themselves so much. They're that ones that go around talking about, oh, I hate my life, and then it's like, and that's one of those things where I'm like, you'll never hear those words coming out of my mouth. Yeah, like life might be stressful at times, but I ain't gonna be talking about I hate my life and think. Excuse me. But, yeah, you won't ever hear those words come out of my mouth. But the ones that be sitting around doubting and hating on me, yeah, they the ones that be talking crazy like that. And it's like, well, why is it? And, you know, just even sit down and kind of just talk to those people real quick. Why do you hate your life? Like, what's going on in your life to where it's so bad to where you don't even want to focus on your life and focus on, I guess, you know, getting to a better standards? You want to look over in my direction and you want to bring me to a dark area where you're at in your life. And I'm like, fam, that's the thing. I'm not capable of doing that. That's not in me. That's not in me to just sit in a dark place and not do nothing. And even the times where I have been in like dark places mentally where it's like, yeah, I might be stressed and I might have all this stuff just hanging over my mind and things, I still don't let it hold me down. I keep going. You know, to the point where I'm like, I'm tired. I can't, you know, record no more. I can't, you know, I pretty much record until I can't think of nothing else to record about or, yeah, talk about and things. But, if not that, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just hurry up, get this all out the way, focus on something else. Like, that's the thing. Like, when it came down to content creating, I'm like, okay, I don't see too many creators with 50 different YouTube channels. Let me do that. I don't see too many creators with thousands of videos. I can do that. I don't see too many creators where it's like they got all these different, you know, video game platforms and playing all these different video games and talking on all these different things and doing all this different type of content. I can do that, you know. So that's why I'm like, when they get to doubting and hating on me and stuff, I'm like, look, whatever you got going on in your life, that's on you. They ain't got nothing to do with me, you know. So yeah, it's like throughout the years of me, because I know people have probably asked that question. It's like, you know, how does it feel having doubters and haters? It's funny, you know, like I just look at it as something where it's like, it's funny. It's something that you can laugh at because it's like, I guess like with me, I don't see myself as a person to get hated on and to have doubters because I'm, you know, I guess like I look at myself like not to really talk badly about myself, but I'm not this big deal when it comes to content creating, and that's okay. Like I guess like with me, I never expected to be a big deal, you know, but I work towards it and stuff. It's weird, you know, it's really weird. Like I had a passion of being a content creator, but at the same time, it's like when I reach all these new goals and, you know, break these records amongst myself, then it's like, dang, like I just like, yeah, you know, and it was funny because I remember people saying that a long time ago that I would never hit 100,000 subscribers. Like, and that was something where I was like, you know, at the time I was so far away from hitting 100,000 subscribers. Like when I was being told this, I had maybe a little over 10,000 subscribers. So it was there. Like I very well could get there if I applied myself and put my mind to it. But yeah, I was at the same time I was working in Seattle. So yeah, when I came home, I just wanted to rest. Like I didn't want to record a whole lot, so I probably had a little bit more time in the day to record, and I think that's what I should have been doing is instead of like going to sleep all early, I should have spent some time at night to record some content. I just pretty much recorded what I could, and then yeah, and I went ahead and went on to bed so I could wake up for work the next day. But when I had when COVID had happened, and it's unfortunate that COVID had to happen in order for me to be a full-time content creator, but I did take advantage of that, you know, situation and things more so with content creating, and I applied myself. I'm like, okay, I can't go back to what I was doing before because I'm like, and you know, so I have the opportunity to follow my dreams. I'm gonna take that opportunity. And then yeah, then next thing you know, it was like, yeah, 2020. I remember I had 13,000 subscribers, I think, when the year had started off. I had 20,000 by the end of the year. And then over the years, it slowly got to 30,000. And then, yeah, 2024, I finally, and it was crazy, just posting voiceover content. I, out of nowhere, ended up hitting, like, it was like, because I remember I was like at 30,000. And then, yeah, out of nowhere, 40,000. Okay, you know, it's gonna probably stop and slow down at some point in time. I hit 50,000. Okay, you know, that's an accomplishment, like hitting 50,000 subscribers. I'm like, I ain't never seen that number before. 60,000 subscribers. Okay, I'm like, now it's getting a little bit, you know, hectic and kind of is getting kind of crazy, and it ain't really slowing down. Like, it looked just like how it did when I was hitting 40,000 subscribers, 70,000 subscribers. I'm like, dang, man, you know, I might just do it. I might just hit 100,000 subscribers and stuff. 80,000, 90,000. And I'll never forget that day. I think I can't remember where I was coming back from, but I was coming back from somewhere. It was either the store or I might have been outside exercising, but I might have been at the store. I don't know. But anyways, I remember I was coming home and I was thinking to myself, because I checked my subscriber count and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, tonight I am going to hit 100,000 subscribers, like, because it's not slowing down. Like, I remember it was earlier that day, I was at 90,000 subscribers. I gained 10,000 within 24 hours, bro. I gained 10,000 subscribers. No, and I still have that stream up. I still have that stream. If you guys look, I think I was playing Destiny, and yeah, I was just waiting for the to get to that number and things, but yeah, I was sitting there, I was just waiting, and then eventually I got to 100,000. This was a subscriber count that people was telling me I was never gonna hit, and it was funny because people, they were even trying to downplay that, and they was like, oh, he's doing YouTube Shorts, that's not gonna last that long, and them same people turned around and got into YouTube Shorts themselves. So it's funny how, like, when people, and that's how you can tell that they're not applying themselves, they don't have no goals, they don't have no morals, they don't have nothing going for themselves, and then they see you doing something good, and then it's like, oh, well, if he can do it, then I can do it. No, you can't. Me and you are two different people. You're not capable of doing what I'm doing. And it's funny because they'll say that they are, and then it's like, okay, well, then prove it. Show me. Post thousands of videos. Yeah, because I'm like, hold on for a second. Let me just open up my Social Blade real quick, you know, because I be opening up my Social Blade a lot. It ain't got saved on my computer. But yeah, let's see you upload over 13,000 videos. Let's see you gain over 200 million views. And it's funny, like, I have to say, probably my biggest doubter, my biggest hater, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know who I'm talking about, the racist pedophile. He was probably the main one that was doubting me over the years, you know. And it was like, yeah, and you could just see it on how his fan base, when they would come over to my channel, the other racist pedophiles, it's like how they would talk amongst my channel and stuff. And it's funny how it's like you look up and then you see where a person where they just given up on life, because yeah, it's like they don't care about their life. If they did, it's like you wouldn't put yourself in a situation where it's like you pretty much ain't got a life to go to and stuff. Like, I ain't gonna say it's like it's a waste of life, but at the same time, it's like, what are you doing productively in your life to where it's like, okay, I could be proud of this, I could be happy about that, I can say that I accomplished this. But it's like you look at it and it's like, yeah, you could say that, but look at how fast you threw all that stuff away. So that's why I'm like, you know, when it's like, I guess with me, it's like, and it's funny because there was this Kendrick Lamar song where there was like a middle portion of the song. Dang, I can't think of the name of that song, but there was a part of the song where Dr. Dre had started talking. And that was something that kind of just stuck with me in that song, where it's like when you get to a level of fame, it's easy to get it, but one of the hardest things to do is to maintain it. Fam, it's been 2 years, and it's funny how, like, people, they always try to downplay me as a content creator, but I'm like, that's one thing. I might have had my days where I've lost some subscribers and stuff, but I gained more than what I lost. So that's why I'm like, anybody that's doubting me, anybody that's hating on me, I'm like, fam, you could tell them to doubt and hate somebody on somebody else, but then it's gonna be another person's problem. So that's why I'm like, I wouldn't want to do that to somebody, you know, because I know how annoying these guys can get. But at the same time, it's like, it's pointless, bro. Like, if y'all was gonna, you know, I guess try to push this doubt and this hate on me, you should have did it August 2nd of 2010, the day before I decided to become a part-time content creator. And then it's like, and on my gaming channel, what day was it when I created my gaming channel? Hold on for a second. When did I have viewers and you guys can currently see your store. How am I? They said that I got a store, but I can't view my own store. That don't even make no sense. I'm like, that's so weird, YouTube. But anyways, April 9th. So I guess April 8th of 2015. I'm like, that should have been a day where it's like, okay, we got to tell this guy not to be a content creator and stuff. And maybe, just maybe, I would have listened. But at the same time, it's like, fam, and that's the thing where it's like, I'm not trying to sound arrogant. I'm not trying to sound cocky. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm somebody where, like, mentally, I am, when it comes to, I guess, like, the people like this, like, doubters and haters and all that, it's like I can run circles around you guys, like when it comes to any and everything, because it's like, I guess, like with me, I apply myself more than the next person, I guess, or to the person that's doubting and hating and all that stuff, so yeah, it's not a fair comparison, I guess, because yeah, people have tried to do that, where they tried to compare me to somebody that I've had issues with, or yeah, other creators and stuff, and it's one of those things where I'm like, fam, if you got to take the time to try to come up with this elaborative comparison with me and another person, there ain't no comparison. I'm gonna be better than them, because it's like, if they, especially, if it's the person themselves trying to compare themselves to me, it's like, bro, the funny thing is that you can have, and it was funny too, because it was like that at one point in time, where the individual in question, the racist pedophile, he had more subscribers than me. He was getting more views than me, but he wasn't a driven content creator. He wasn't a passionate content creator. He wasn't motivated. And now look, you see where it's like, at some point in time, like, he does have me beat by like 30,000 subscribers and stuff, but when you see how much he's losing, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's gonna probably change by the end of the year and stuff. But overall though, when it comes down to views, he ain't got me beat by views. Like, his most viewed video is at less than 1 million. My most viewed video, and it's funny because take down his most view, or take down all of his videos besides his most viewed video, and take down all of my videos besides my most viewed video, I have him beat, bro. Like, it's one of those things where it's just, yeah, like I said, it's not a fair comparison. He can try his hardest, but like I said, I guess his best day would be a day where I don't exist, is a day where I'm like, I'm not doing nothing, but I could upload one video. That video could get maybe 2 views. I would be more passionate and more motivated and more accomplished with that video than he would with like a video where it took him weeks, months, years to work on that one video and stuff. So, but anyways, and that's the thing. That's how you gotta look at a lot of people, because the only difference would be between myself and anybody, I guess, where they want to say, oh, I'm more passionate and all this stuff, other stuff than you and things. It's like, okay, showcase it. I don't have to be in people's comment sections telling them that, oh, I'm more passionate and more motivated and all this other stuff. I showcase it. So that's why I'm like, when they try to get in my comment sections and get the hating and doubting and all this other stuff, and it's like, okay, you're furthermore proving my point, pretty much, so. But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on a podcast streaming service. And peace.